Alright, so, good morning. This is Ray, Knitterman from Knitivity.com. I decided I wanted to make an AMA video. It means Ask Me Anything. And I'm not sure exactly what people would want to know about me, but I did get a few interesting questions, and I will try to answer them as best I can. Let's start with the easiest ones first. Someone wants to know, do you have a dedicated workspace? No. I work in my kitchen, which means that my kitchen can be used for a dyeing space or a cooking space, but not at the same time. So I have to drape the counter with a shower curtain liner, which works out well because my space is shaped very well for dyeing and for doing the things that I want to do. But I'm wondering if sometimes I wonder if I do things the way that I do them because of the way the space is shaped, rather than having a space designed for what I do. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I use the space that I have, and we make the best of it. But it does mean that I have to keep the kitchen relatively clean, since I switch between dyeing and eating in the kitchen. You may not always think so, but my kitchen is actually clean enough to eat from, even when I have been working. I have ways to cook and to eat while I have been working, but I don't work dyeing while I'm cooking. I don't want my food to get into the dyes. So anyway, Nicole asked, how do you keep your hands from getting all chapped and dry? And that's an interesting question, because dyeing does involve a lot of water and moisture and chemicals and whatnots and stuff all over the hands. So a lot of dyers will use these cheesy latex gloves, which tend to wear, and they are always slippy, never grippy. And there's times when I need my gloves to be grippy, and oh look, there's a hole in one right there, brand new out of the box, and there's a hole. So I don't use cheap shit stuff. I use latex living gloves, and you can see that these are somewhat dirty and used, but I keep a supply of them. Playtex living gloves, yay! And once in a while my Playtex living gloves do die, and I have to replace them, but they last 5 or 6 months a piece. And I'm looking at my monitor, and they look blue on the monitor there, but they're actually purple. So I don't know. I hope you can see the colors that I'm using, if I happen to show colors. So that's what I use to keep my hands from getting chapped and dry. Now I mentioned that the cheapo surgical type gloves, nursing gloves, whatever, powdered latex disposable gloves. It uses for painting and staining, gardening, hobbies, pet care, housework, and general hand protection. Bollocks. They don't. They're slippery. They're slippy when they're wet. But these will allow me to pick up and grip the yarn when I need them to. I'm not pulling my finger. I'm showing how they work. But I can dip in a little bowl of slightly soapy water to make my surfaces slick and slippy when I need them to be. And if I ever get around to showing you how I dye, then you'll be able to see what I mean by making it slippy or grippy. I need grippy gloves that can be slippy sometimes. But anyway, after that, I can take them off, and I normally don't have messed up hands. I do wash and rinse them and lotion them after work sometimes. So anyway, that's what I do for my hands. Let me see. Alicia wants to know what types of dye do I prefer to work with. I prefer to work with colored dye. Colorless dye doesn't work very well. But I don't think that's what she meant. I use an acid-based dye that I can use with either vinegar or citric acid. Both of these, vinegar and citric acid, are food-safe products. But because I use protein fibers, they need a more acid dye solution to make the dye molecules stick better. That's a short version of what's going on there. I use one of the more popular, less expensive brands. They each have their own benefits. But yeah, I use an acid dye system for my dyes. And I do have a couple of other questions, but I'm really not sure how to answer. Jill asked me, and I'll have to read it. It's a long question. You have an exceptional eye for color and color combinations. What has influenced you to see the world this way? I have no idea. I have no formal art training, no formal textile training, no formal color theory. I look and I see, and generally I just tend to go with what looks good to my eye. Okay, we had a minor interruption there. Yeah, I have no color training or anything like that. I just work with and go with what looks good to me. Every now and then I do those, what do you call it? Color tests that show up on Facebook now and then to see how good your eye color, how well you pick up different colors that are very similar and things like that. And I generally do pretty good with those, with most of the colors, except maybe in the purples. I can't always distinguish all of the purples all of the time. And part of that may be the monitor that I'm using. I don't know. But no, I don't know what, I'm not even sure what she means by what has influenced you to see the world this way. I see the world the way that I see it because I can't do anything else. I can see it in no other way but with the eyes that I have and the way that my brain interprets color, processes the information from the light being refracted back to my eye. I honestly don't know. Well, partly I don't know exactly what the question means, and partly I don't understand why other people don't see the things that I see. I'm real detail-oriented in some ways, and in other ways I just completely gloss over minor details and differences. But then she asks a follow-up question. If you had to pick a favorite color combo, what would it be and what does it remind you of? And that would be another question to which the response is, I have no idea. In the last almost 11 years, I have dyed 8, 9, 10,000 hanks of yarn, and invariably, if I were to have a favorite, it would be the one I just did because it's so exciting and so different from ones I've done before. I don't know if I really could pick a favorite combination. I'm reminded of a cartoon, a little comic strip that I saw, oh golly, 15, 20 years ago. A little boy writing to God, and he says, "Dear God, I used to think purple and orange don't go together, but then I saw what you did to the sunset last night." Color does what color does, and I don't believe there are any bad colors, any ugly colors. Most colors have their power by interacting with other colors. If the entire world was blue or green or some other single color, it would be boring and monotonous, monotone-us. And I think any color can be exciting when it is paired or used in combination with one or more colors that it can play off of, that it can make a contrast to. And my microphone is falling down. So I don't know if that's what she means, but I really can't pick a favorite color. Part of it has to do with my mood swings. You know, some days when I'm really happy, I get excited by this pink color. That's pink, by the way. Some days, baby poop brown is a truly exciting color if it's used in combination with something else. So, I don't know. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with some colors, but I'm not going to identify those colors because when I love them, I love them. I really, really love them. And when I hate them, I really, really hate them. But nearly always it's because they're used in combinations that don't look good to me. They clash, and they drive me up a freaking wall sometimes. I used to have, and I still have, but I don't advertise it, I used to have a lot of so-called standardized colorways, colors that looked good at the time. But because of the way that I dye, I don't have a dedicated space. I don't have computerized, controlled environment for humidity or quality of the water that I use. I just use tap water. And even if I make a really, really nice combination one day, I could go back the next week and use the exact same recipe with the water and the dye and the acid, and it'll come up looking like shit. Crap. Whatever. Yeah, I use those words sometimes. It's okay because I have no miner's hair. Anyway, I think I'm rambling, so I'm going to leave that question. And another question, and I forgot who asked it. how did you get started with fiber? And that is a long response. So I'm going to save that for another video. And I hope you all don't mind, but my throat is getting more scratchy. And I need to tie this one off and finish it because I'm digging for a stitch here and it isn't coming up. I'm going to save that question for another video later on after my throat is not so scratchy. So anyway, I'm going to tie that off for now, and I will talk to you later. But I would invite you to visit Knitivity.com and drop me an email or a message on Facebook or Twitter or Ravelry even. Anything that you would like to know about me and my work, and I'll try to answer it next time. Talk to you later. Bye.